Alright people, today I want to talk about hospitals. I don't really know why, since everyone may already know about hospitals. Perhaps it's the fact that I played Dwarf Fortress for so long under the assumption that hospitals were a complex subject before learning the truth. I suspect their absence in First Fortress videos and the rather extensive wiki page might have convinced others that they are complicated to create. Well, I'm here to tell you that no, they absolutely are not complicated or difficult to create, nor should they be grouped in with advanced subjects. Hospitals are stupid easy, stupid cheap, and you even get the materials to stock your first hospital with the default embark. Really, if you don't have a hospital yet, the appropriate time to build one is immediately. Allow me to explain how. A hospital is a zone. You create one by first pressing I, then drawing a zone, and then with the zone selected, pressing H. And there you go, you made a hospital. Okay, well, it's completely useless at the moment, so the video doesn't end here. But it's not going to be difficult to furnish this zone to get your dwarves treated after your careless miner sends half a dozen floor tiles plummeting onto his comrades below. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Coddle. So speaking of furniture, hospitals use beds for resting patients, tables for performing surgeries, and traction benches to immobilize and set bones. They also use containers to store supplies, which is far more convenient and sane than using stockpiles, though you could technically use a stockpile instead. All you have to do is construct these things within the hospital zone. Everything is designated, stocked, and used automatically. If you can build a table, you can build a hospital. Scratch that, surgeries apparently can be performed without a table, so you don't even need to do that. But come on, tables are tables and beds are beds. You can make an extra of each and get a hospital running early on. The traction bench is the only thing that some players may not be familiar with, but a 20-second glance at the wiki about the mechanics workshop is all you need to have a traction bench built in no time flat. Especially since, along with most of the supplies to stock the hospital, the default embark comes with the rope that you need to craft it. So here's my hospital in the tutorial fortress. It has 8 beds, 3 tables, and 3 traction benches. Is this ideal? I have no idea. I have not looked up how to optimize a hospital. But at least there's one of everything. There's also these 2 chests here, which contain the consumables for medical procedures. These chests get stocked with consumables automatically with priority, meaning that the materials will be taken from any stockpile and put in the chest until the quantities you've specified, which I'll mention later, are reached. So let's take a look at what's in the hospital by pressing I, and then selecting the zone, then pressing Shift H to enter the Set Hospital Information menu. Here we can see everything available in the hospital as well as the target quantities for consumable goods. Now you might be thinking, damn, that's a lot of thread. But it's not. You see, the item that is thread, which you would put in a stockpile or sell, is like one spool of thread. The hospital only needs inches at a time, so the units are broken down further. One item, or spool, of thread contains 15,000 tiny lengths. One item, or bolt, of cloth is worth 10,000 little squares. One bag of gypsum powder contains 150 scoops, and 1 bar of soap can be used 150 times before completely dissolving. So in reality, this is only 5 of each item. You can change the target quantities yourself. How much of each item you need depends on how many dwarves you suspect might be treated at once. If you're totally sealed away and don't do much fighting, you probably barely need the default values. However, if you have a large military and are willing to fight flying titans and hordes of undead, you may want to substantially increase these values along with the number of beds, tables, and benches. So that's what the hospital is. The way the hospital operates is, well, just as hands-free as setting it up. Dwarves automatically go to the hospital when they need to, or they're carried by a dwarf with the recovering wounded labor enabled, which by default is everyone. Then they await diagnosis by a dwarf with the, well, diagnosis labor enabled. This must happen before any treatment can occur, so make sure you have a diagnoser or 3. Finally, treatment is administered by the dwarf with the appropriate medical labor enabled. Make sure you have at least 1 dwarf with each. It's really all automatic. You only need to have supplies. Look, if you're not convinced that hospitals are trivial early game stuff, here's my hospital in a new fortress that I started for my next video. Yeah, it's a wooden hut above ground. No, I'm not secretly an elf. I just like to... I'll make a video on it. Anyway, here's the hospital. As you can see, it's fairly rudimentary. Just 2 beds, a table, and a chest. And I could have even used the bag that came with my embark instead of making the chest. There's no traction bench, but it is capable of performing surgeries and resting dwarves, and it's very well stocked from the embark supplies. I put this together within the first week by just building this furniture here and making the zone. No other work necessary. So there you have it, the incredibly easy hospital. Just build it, now, before Coddle deconstructs the wrong floor tile again and sends a pile of debris onto the dwarves below. Seriously, Coddle, get your head in the game. Oh wait, one more thing. Assign a chief medical dwarf in the nobles menu, accessed by pressing N. They require nothing, not an office or a bedroom, and don't even need medical skills. What they do is provide you with the health tab of the status menu. You can find that by pressing Z, then using the arrow keys to navigate to said health tab and pressing enter. Here you get a convenient fortress-wide overview of everyone's health, including animals. This area here is a matrix of different health conditions that might exist for your dwarves and animals. Below is a key of which symbols can be found on this page of the matrix. You can use 4 and 6 of the number pad, or the arrow keys, to move left and right to other pages with their respective symbols below. Here we see that Dishmob has broken tissue. You can select Dishmob using the arrow keys and then press enter to go to her personal health screen. Or you can press R to recenter on her. That means zoom or go to the unit. I have no idea why it's called recenter in this menu. Anyway, there you have it. Healthcare is really not a complex matter in Dwarf Fortress. Well, sure, it's very complex in how it works, but not so much in what you have to do. For the most part, it all manages itself, so long as you can build a bed and a table, or as many tables as you might need, since Coddle just rendered another 6 fellow miners unconscious. That's it, Coddle. You are off the mining team. I hope you like Magma Crab Patrol. I'll see you next time.